Hey everybody, this is Lance and Tracey from sunny Southern California. We want to welcome you guys to the Super Monday. We're excited that you guys are here. I was thinking to myself that I had to start this off with some type of a April Fool's joke, but by the time you're watching this Monday evening, you've probably gotten sick of those all day long. And so we'll just tell you that welcome to April, and we're excited to be here with you tonight and wherever you are around the world. One of the things I love about this technology is that we can reach out and touch people all around the planet, and we're excited about what's happening right now. Things are really going great. We just got back from Orlando, as a lot of you know, and we're excited about what happened out there. We got a chance to spend time with Mike and Columbo and Karen, and we had Effie there. We had Ross from the Czech Republic there. And so a good chunk of the legacy leadership. That was a good first time we've been able to do that for a while, and that was a great time. I tell you, at this point in my career, there are no people that I would rather be in business with than the people I'm in business with right now. We've just got such an amazing team, and everybody brings something different to the table. You know, I look at Mike and his background as far as from a legal background. That really comes in handy in this type of a business when you start dealing with people and money and that sort of thing. And you know, his knowledge there and his knowledge of the business is amazing. Columbo and Karen, I mean, what can you say about them? They're legends in the industry, and to be partnered with them and someone like Effie. I think Effie was the first seminar. We were probably 21 years old when we got a chance to hear Effie speak the first time, and to be able to be partnered on the same time or the same team is just amazing. And to see Ross there from the Czech Republic, and by the way, I'm sure that we've already covered it, but I want to just say congratulations to Ross for hitting Sapphire 25 out there in the Czech Republic. Man, the Czech is on fire. As a matter of fact, we had a record sponsoring month this last month. And we just got a lot of folks in. We got a lot of great people, and so if you're brand new, we certainly want to welcome you to this call. We've got a lot of new folks that are joining the team and want to be a part of this. You know, it's you get to a certain point in your life where you go, you know what, enough's enough. You know, if you want to change your life, we got to change our life. And this is certainly an opportunity for that. And so we want to just thank the leaders that we're partnering with. We got a chance, if you saw on Facebook on the way home, we got a chance to jump on some fan boats, and that was a lot of fun to go chase some alligators around for a little while. You know, we don't quite have a lot. We don't have a lot of alligators out here in California. We got sharks off the coast, but we don't have alligators, and so that was kind of a fun time to spend a day with Tracey doing that. But the momentum is here. We're just, we're excited about what's happening in the company. You know, back in Orlando, we had a sold-out Discover Jeunesse. There was 300 and something brand new prospects that they flew in from all over the place. They actually had to have another Discover the day before because a couple of groups had come on board, and they're just running so fast that we couldn't fit everybody in the room. And that was exciting. The FLC, we had our call yesterday, and I got a chance to kind of get caught up on the new promotions that are coming. And I'm going to tell you, when we first came over to Jeunesse, there's no comp plan that's absolutely perfect. There's no business model that's perfect. But what you want to do is you want to go ahead and look at the cards you're dealt and figure out how to play them the best you can. And on the FLC, we get together for an hour every 2 weeks and talk about, hey, let's do this, let's do that. And you're going to hear something about a Star Maker promotion coming up. You'll probably have got emails in the box today. And so that's exciting. This promotion is going to run for a couple of months, and there's a lot of money that they're throwing to the front of the plan to get people who are moving, get them some money in their pocket. Now, if you're not moving, there's a lot of money here coming your way. But for somebody who gets involved and puts some effort into this thing, some consistent effort, we'll talk about that more in a minute. There's some new money there, and so we're excited about that. North America is growing. We're seeing people come involved. As I said, there's some other leaders that are coming on board. They're realizing that, like I talk to a lot of people out there, is that we just, no matter how old you are, we just want to finish this thing strong. We want to be part of something that's going to be big. And these guys have got the vision in Jeunesse to be the number one company. And I really believe that they've got what it takes to do it. I believe they've got the leadership in place at the corporate level and at, certainly at the field level. I believe, I'm biased, but I believe we've got the best team that's out part of Jeunesse. And if you're cross-line from us and kind of sneaking on this call, I apologize. But you know what? I love my friends' kids, but I love my kids the most, and I love my family the most. And we just got some amazing people on this team. And anyway, it's exciting time to run. There's again, I just want to congratulate Ross and Sapphire 25, and we're just tickled to be here. And I'm gonna let Tracey kick off tonight, and then I'll kind of go through some details, and we'll wrap it up. So here's Trace.
Awesome. So happy Monday. We are excited to be with you. It feels like, with Zoom, we can just jump into each other's living rooms or be in one big room, right, with Zoom and be able to talk with you. So, we've had quite a week. It's been really fun. We're going into I know a lot of people are going into some spring breaks, maybe with their kids or their grandkids, or you're going into spring break. I know we have a lot of college people that are actually, in the business right now running too. And so Boy, we have a lot of pans on the stove. What is the hopper? Something in the hopper? A lot of something in the hopper?
Yeah.
We have a lot of that. But anyway, you know, we've been having a good time. I just told you about the fan bows, and that was, oh my gosh, I could do that all the time. There's so many experiences, you know, out there that we all are able to do. And, you know, that's something I always wanted to do as a kid. I remember watching it. I think it was on something Omaha as a little kid.
Mutual Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Yeah, before the Disney something. I don't remember, but I remember watching that thinking, holy cow, can you imagine how cool that would be? And it was. It was 100% cool. And it started reminding me a lot about things that I used to like to do, you know, as a kid. And I've been reading a book, and it says that you should go back and revisit all of those wonderful times in your life, you know, that you've had. I know a lot of you have done the same thing. It reminded me of times like I'd get on that big wheel and I would, you know, run around the cul-de-sac and go as fast as I could and imagine what it would be like to drive someday, you know, and have my own car and be able to go my own places and put my own gas, you know, do all of those kind of things. It reminded me of being a little kid and actually having a cardboard box and cutting it out and making paper money and acting like I was a banker, a big professional, you know. It reminded me of all those sleepless nights. You know, my parents never bought us passes to theme parks, but once a year, you know, they would surprise me saying, we're going to go to Disneyland tomorrow. Remember that? And you couldn't sleep all night. It was like the night from hell because you just couldn't sleep. It was so hard because you were just so excited. Remember that excitement and all of those feelings that you were just so excited. You remember those days?
I do.
It was just amazing. And so, you know, those were big grand things, you know, that as a kid that you just remember. But I also remember things like, you know, summer's coming and being a kid on a hot summer day, you know, just sizzling hot and being able to walk down to a place like a store called 7-Eleven. And bear with me because I'm going to have a point to this somewhere. But, you know, walking down there knowing, you know, that you're walking down to a convenience store to get an ice cold cherry Slurpee, you know, or a cola Slurpee. That was like such an amazing time. You know, 7-Elevens were called Toten stores way back, I think, in our grandparents' age. It was actually a Japanese chain that came, and it was international. And it was so amazing because, you know, in those 7-Elevens, they were run by your neighborhood, you know, cashiers. So people that lived in your neighborhood, they'd greet you by your name. You know, I remember coming in and they would know my grandparents because they lived around the corner from us. And I would walk down there and they'd say, hey, Tracy, how are you doing today? It was so personal, you know, and that was one of their goals, is to always have someone in the community be able to work there and greet you and be a really incredible convenience. You know, stores would close, you know, probably at 5 or 6 when we were kids. They weren't open all the time. And so that chain just ran like crazy, and they were just such an incredible thing when your parents would run out of matches or, you know, milk or beer. You know, I remember them running down there and they knew they were going to pay more, but it was the convenience of being able to do it and the idea that they weren't ever going to run out. And so I remember all of those times going down there and walking there and getting penny candy and having a great time. But the convenience of that international chain really made me start thinking about what kind of a system that they had. You know, I even Googled 7-Elevens, and within 5 miles, each mile has a 7-Eleven there for you to be able to, you know, to serve your needs. And I thought, gosh, what a great convenience. You know, what an amazing line. On Sunday nights, you know, my grandparents would always have family dinners, and Lance and I try to do the same thing. Not every Sunday, we can't do that, but we try at least once a month. And I remember my grandparents, you know, after dinner, my grandpa would say, okay, let's go down to the candy store. That's what he called 7-Eleven. And all 3 of us kids, my 2 cousins, we would walk down there, and he would say, okay, everyone can pick something, and then we would leave. But this one Sunday came up, and he changed it up a little bit. Before we went into the store, he said, Tracy, David, and Michael, he goes, this time you guys can pick 2 items. And I'm like, 2 items? And so, you know, we ran around the store, and as kids would do, and we'd pick up something, and then we'd put it back down, we'd pick up something else, and then he goes, okay, kids, it's time. And we all ran up to the cashier. And as we were purchasing things, or we put our stuff up on the thing and he was purchasing, we looked over, and David put his things up last. And David, he put up a liter of Coke and a big, huge bag of potato chips. And Michael and I looked down and we had 2 candies. And we're like, what? That's not fair. And my grandpa said, now, there's a lesson here. I said 2 items. And we're like, wow, man, David's so smart. And David had that little sly grin, and giggle. And we're like, now he's a rocket scientist, of course. But anyway, lessons learned, convenience and opportunity. Those are some things that I really look back and I think, I'm glad those lessons kind of lasted in me. The convenience of always having a global business that's open 24 hours that we really take advantage of, honestly, and the lesson that we really should be able to create a community where we don't just put people on a smart ship program or a convenience program, that we really recognize when they come in and they shop. Maybe that we track a little bit better and we send encouraging notes that they came by, that they are our community, they are in our neighborhood, they're on our website. That convenience is awesome, and the ability to be on a smart ship program is awesome, and we should encourage them, but we should also encourage them to visit it regularly, not just once a month. And then the idea of the opportunity of just 1 item or 2 items, we have an incredible array of products. That when we see someone that maybe just experiences maybe our serum, that's incredible, I love it, but we have so many things to add to that. There's a lot of things that we can offer, a lot of recognition. And I just have the story, I hope you kind of get around to where I'm talking, is that I think a lot of us keep our location as a secret. And we shouldn't be like that. Everyone that should know that you're in business. You don't have to hammer them about our business and hammer them about our opportunity and hammer them about our products. But they all should know that you're open for business. It shouldn't be a secret. So that's kind of my message for you this Monday. I'm having the time of my life right now. We are excited. The business is exploding all around us. And we just invite you, jump in. Let's give this a really good run. Spring is my favorite time to build this business, isn't it for you? It really is, and you'll go, oh yeah, well, Christmas probably is, and fall, well, it's all great times, but really, spring, I love it. Everything's coming alive, the birds, the trees are popping leaves, it's beautiful outside, we're all starting to, get our hopes up with fitness and sun and greatness, and anyway, we just encourage you to get out there and run with us. We love what we do.
No, that's great. It's funny, I'm listening to that story, and I've heard obviously Tracey tell that story before about the 7-Elevens, and I'll tell you that the lesson I got out of that, or that I get out of it, is that going into the 7-Eleven is kind of like life. You go out there and you get to pick whatever it is you want to have out of life, and some people go out there and they just pick small. They don't really think real big, and they walk in the store and think they pick up a couple of candy, and I can see David is 7 years old, 8 years old, going, what are the 2 dang biggest things in here I can carry out the door? And what I love in my life is I get a chance to spend my time around the big thinkers, the big dreamers, the people who look at life and go, you know what, let's buy the whole dang store. If I got 2 things, I'll take the 7-Eleven and the owner's car outside. Those are the 2 things I want.
That's good.
So anyway, well, listen, I want to kind of go in a little bit of a different direction. I know that when we do these, we do these trainings, these Super Mondays every month, and we want to get a little bit more deeper into the teaching and getting the basics. And we got so many new folks that are involved right now that, again, I want to welcome all the new people. If this is your first one, we're just excited to have you here. And this is something we do to try to keep the information out there and keep people trained in the right direction. Our business isn't very complicated, and it's not easy. It takes effort. But it is fairly simple. There's really some basic things, and I'm going to cover those this evening. And so again, I want to thank the new people for being here. There's a second type of person who's on here who's maybe been around for a little while, and they're running really hard. We've got a bunch of folks on the Legacy team that are just hitting it right now, and we've got, like I say, record registration in this month since we've been in Jeunesse, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited about what all you guys are doing that are running, and hopefully this helps you out and helps your new folks out. And then there's a third type of person who's on this call that maybe has been around for a couple of years and maybe isn't running as hard right now. It's hard to stay. Well, let me put it a different way. I remember when I got involved in the industry, I looked and I thought, if only 5% of America is wealthy and 95% aren't, then with this opportunity, we're going to be able to take that percentage and make that go up. Maybe we can have 6% wealthy, 7% wealthy, 8% wealthy, and that dream has always been there. But the truth of the matter is that most people won't do what it takes to go out there and have success. Most people have to be told when to get up in the morning and when to go to work and when to come home and when to go on break and when to go to lunch and how much to make. And I hate saying that. When I first got involved in the industry, I thought, man, I'm gonna get all my friends free. But looking back and looking at what I know about people today, that's just not the case. There's a lot of people out there that really kind of have to be told what to do. And if there's not someone to tell them what to do, then they don't do it. I mean, most people are kind of lazy. And some people, we get involved in this business. And I'd love to say for the last 30 years, Tracey and I have been running at the same pace the entire time. Now, we've always stayed consistent. And we have never quit. Which is, kind of the keys to success there. But there are times that, as you know, whether it be losing weight or whether it be whatever in life that's important to you, whether it be going to church or whatever, there's times that you're out there and you're really on top of your game. And then as time goes by, sometimes other things happen, because that's the truth, is that life does happen sometimes. And sometimes you end up having things happen. I mean, I'll give you an example. In the month of December, we got a chance to go out in Vegas. We got a phone call that my son had rolled his car, and we had to deal with a lot of that sort of thing. We had some other issues in the family. We had some health issues. And when you're dealing with those types of things, sometimes it's hard. The business goes from priority number 3 or 4 to kind of down the list a little ways. And what's so great about it is, we can't fire you, which is good. If you could be fired, we'd have been fired maybe a while ago. But what you do have is you have the ability to start over again. And that's kind of the thing that I wanted to talk about. All of us have our different journeys. And for those of you that are brand new, that know our story or that don't know our story, Tracey and I got involved when we were young. We were still in college and just kind of dating, kind of getting our life going together. And I went to an event and I got a chance to hear this. I heard the plan from my cousin. He came down to actually show my parents the plan, and my parents walked out of their own house. I saw the opportunity, got in, got excited. And 2 weeks later, my cousin calls me and says, I quit. And I said, well, what do you mean you quit? I'm excited about this. I want to do something. And so he said, hey, there's a seminar in Salt Lake City, and if you want to go to it, here's the name of a guy. And I'm like, man, Salt Lake City is 12 hours away, and that's a long way. He said, well, that's all you got. And so I looked at Tracey and I said, there's enough here. Let's go check it out, or I'll go check it out. I don't think she could get off work that weekend. And so I drove up there with the name, and I walked around a high school gym with about 1,000 people in it, saying, hey, is this you? And that's kind of how we started. We found that guy, and that guy got involved and quit. And anyway, we kind of struggled trying to find who our upline was at the beginning, but we were hungry and we were looking. We started showing the plan, and I got our business kind of growing. It was, we were pretty green. We didn't have a lot of credibility. A lot of people look at us and they would, my lack of belief probably in myself probably rubbed off. So our sponsoring rate really wasn't high, and we would struggle at the beginning. I mean, our first year was really. I look back and I go, I'm not sure why we didn't quit, but there were a lot of reasons why we could have. I mean, at one point we got a phone call from one of our biggest guys that says, hey, we quit, and my entire team's quitting too. And our group really, got cut from about 60 people down to about 5 people, like overnight. And I'm like, dang, that wasn't supposed to happen. And I remember thinking at one point, well, maybe I should quit. Maybe that's what we should do. And then that lasted about 3 or 4 seconds. And I thought, well, then what? Then go back to what I was doing before that wasn't working. And so, we went through those struggles. We went ahead. I got my parents involved who had credibility. My parents, they started to build their group, and because I lacked belief in myself, but I knew my dad had credibility, I started to spend most of my time helping my dad and my mom build their group. And after a year, they actually went and qualified for promotion. They got a trip to a cruise to the Bahamas. We had to take them to the airport, and they wished us the very best. They said, we love you. We'll send you postcards, which they did. And we picked them up when they got home. And I'll tell you what, we cried a couple of times that time because we wanted to be there. I mean, we wanted this thing to grow. But it didn't happen overnight for us. We had to grow on the inside first before we could grow on the outside. And we were reading books, and we were studying, and we were listening to people like Columbo and Karen and other leaders out there like Effie who had been out there before us and had built big businesses. And so we were at that growth stage. We went ahead and I remember looking back, it's funny because the first year we probably talked to about 50 or 60 people personally and showed them the plan. And at the end of that first year, we really only got one that got in and did it, and that was my parents. One leader that did it. I mean, we had other people get involved. But what I looked at is I realized people are kind of like now or later. They're either going to get involved now or they're going to get involved later. And as you share this idea with them, what you're doing is you're, like Tracey said, putting your stamp saying, you know what, I'm in business. We're out here to go build something. We're going to do something amazing. And they're either going to say, no, which sometimes they do, but no doesn't necessarily mean no. No, a lot of times for us it's meant later. Just you prove to us that you're serious about this. You go put some points on the board, and then we'll come join you. Now, none of them have said that. What they said was no, but I didn't realize that they would come along later. A few years later, as we had success, a lot of those folks came back. I mean, like I said, our first year we found one good leader. The second year we found one more good leader. Unfortunately back then we weren't in a binary plan, because if we were in a binary plan, I would have had the foundation for an entire dynasty at that point. We were in a unilevel breakaway, and we needed 6 of those things. And so year number 3, we found one more. Year number 4, we found one more. Year number 5, we found one more. And year number 6, we found one more. And if you would have told me I was only going to find one good leader a year for 6 years, I probably would have quit at the beginning. I honestly, looking back, if you'd have told me that, I'd say, man, that 6 years that's a long time. That said, after 6 years, we were making a very large income. I bought the house I live in today, and we had no job, a motorhome, nice cars, and really had accomplished most of our financial dreams and goals within that time frame. Now, they didn't happen at the first year, the second year, the third year. As a matter of fact, if you look at my cousin, you look at us, my cousin actually quit the first week or the second week I was in. And we decided to run. And if you would have got 8 months longer, or 9 months, or almost even a year later, and you would have asked somebody who made the best decision, it was a coin flip. You couldn't tell if my cousin made the better decision to quit, we knew.
Yeah.
We had enough of a vision to see what we were going to do, but from the outside looking in, you really didn't know who made the right decision. The second year, you maybe kind of guessed it was going to go, but by year 4 or 5 or 6, it started to get real good, and we had some fun from that point, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But I don't know what it is that you're going to go through. We had neighbors laugh and relatives think that we were silly, and we went through some struggles. You will too. Back then we didn't really have the internet, so we didn't have a lot of social media where people know people in this industry that are making money, and so it was kind of a different time. But I will tell you the thing that was for us is that we didn't quit, and we had this ability, and this is going for those of you that maybe aren't running 100% right now. We had the ability to start over again. We had the ability to start over. I tell people all the time, I say, I haven't quit once, but I've started over probably 50 times in this business. Because what happens is it's the same for all of us. Just life happens, and sometimes this doesn't become your top 2 or 3 priorities, or 4 or 5 priorities, and it slides down the list. And so we look at Tracey, I look at Tracey, she looks at me when we get to that point, and we say, you know what, let's go ahead and run from there. And so, and how do we start over? Well, we just kind of go back to the basics. That's what this thing is about. You've got 2 parts of our business. One part is the Jeunesse side. If you're watching this video, chances are real good you've already signed up. Chances are pretty good you're on auto ship. You know that you should be doing 200 points. Or the smart ship. You know that you should be doing around 200 points. You've got to do 60 points to be active, but we recommend for leaders that you do 200 points. That's the Jeunesse side, and that makes you a distributor of Jeunesse, and you can go out there and sell stuff. You can do whatever it is you want to do at that point. But if you're on this call right now, the chances are pretty good that you're not looking at going ahead and getting the little 2 items at the grocery store, the 2 candies. The chances are pretty good if you're here. You want the big stuff. You want to have this answer some of the big things in life, or be the solution for some of the bigger sides, such as maybe it's the time you want, maybe it's the money you want, maybe it's just the freedom to be able to have the choices to do what you want to do. I don't know what it is you're dreaming. My guess is if you're on this video right now, or you're watching this, that you probably want those things. And so I'm just going to tell you the pattern, and there's a pattern I learned 30 years ago. It's a pattern that Columbo and Karen learned 40-something years ago, and I don't know who's been, but this is the pattern that if you get involved in our industry and you go to any company that's out there, first of all, you got to be one of the top, maybe 50 to 100 companies. And then from there, you're going to have to follow a pattern. And the pattern that I'm about to share with you works for all the different companies that are out there, and all the different companies out there teach it. And it goes kind of something like this. Number 1 is you got to define what it is your dream is. And if you're brand new, that's certainly something you need to do. And if you're not running as hard, maybe you need to redefine it. Maybe you need to dust off the dream board and go out there and take a look and say, really, what is it we want? How do we want to finish life strong? The whole time I'm sitting on that fan boat looking at Tracey, looking at the youngers, I go, you know what? There's 20 seats here that are empty. I would love to pack this thing full of our team. How cool would that be? So much fun. How much fun are we going to have doing those sort of things? And those are the things that motivate me. But what is it your dream is? What is your dream? Because the thing that separates people who don't have a dream work for somebody who does. That's the bottom line. And if you don't have a dream, you'll always have somebody that has a dream telling you what to do, or hiring somebody to tell you what to do. That's his bottom line. I mean, if you look at businesses out there, you go to the top of anything, there's a big dreamer up there that probably isn't good at all the stuff. I heard a statement years ago that C and D students, C and D or A and B students work for C and D students because C and D students couldn't get enough grades. They ended up going out there and quitting their job or quitting college or quitting school or whatever. They went out there and they got a business of their own. You look at what is the name? Branson, who owns Virgin Airlines. I mean, the guy started like 300. Richard. He started like 300. He doesn't even have a college degree, but he started 300, 400 different companies and had success in most of them. You look at a lot of people out there, most of them started with somebody with a dream. And if you're going to start your business and you're going to stay consistent, you have to have that dream in front of you. You know, Tracey, I live in $1 million house here in Southern California. It's a beautiful Victorian house up on a hill. I love our house. When I first moved in, I was looking for something that was Mediterranean. And I came around the corner and my wife saw this house and she gasped. And I go, oh no, that's a dollhouse. I can't live in a dollhouse.
I had 3 little girls. Two little girls.
Yeah. At the time, we had 2 little girls and they talked me into staying. I thought maybe I'll flip it because it looked like it was going to be a good deal. And here it is a bunch of years later, and I'm still here with lots of great, fantastic memories. But within this area, within this driving range of where we live, there's probably, I would say, $5,000 million homes. And I would tell you, we probably have been through most of them. If they were being built or through construction, I can't tell you how many times we'd go to church on Sunday, we'd go to a Subway sandwich, pick up a sandwich, and we'd go drive around and look at $1 million homes. Just almost.
We still do.
We still do.
We love it.
but it's something that we did automatically to keep that particular dream out there. I mean, I'm looking at the house we're in right now, and last week we drove down to a place called Coronado. And Coronado Caves, the houses down there started at about $4 million and go up to about $40 million. But what's nice is it's a house like mine, except it's got a dock in the back with a nice yacht back there. And we built our dream. We sat there and looked at all of them. And I'm just telling you, if I've got to do it at the level that I'm at, and I'm not saying that we've arrived because we haven't arrived, I still have dreams in front of us and things that we're shooting for, because we've still got 2 kids at the house. The youngest here is 17. In a couple of years, we'll be empty nesters. And I don't know, maybe we'll stay here. Maybe we'll keep this. Maybe we'll rent it out. But I'll tell you, the idea of having a lower maintenance yard and having a sport fisher in the back kind of gives me goosebumps when I think about that one. It wakes you up at night. And so, what is your dream? Are you out there going out there and putting yourself in front of it? Motorhomes, trailers, whatever it is. Some people, their big dream is to become financially free. Well, if you can't go touch that and feel that and see that, go find something that you can actually touch and see and feel, that you can get in front of you and excite you. Because there are times that Trace and I have been down, but you know what we've made the decision is we're never going to be down together at the same time.
Right.
What we've decided is this, is I'll look at if one of us is struggling, we'll go, hey, let's go for a drive, and we'll go down by the beach and we'll hit some of the cliff areas and walk and look at some of the houses that have, right there on the ocean that, have got that view, and you can smell the salt air coming in, and that kind of stuff. We come back and it's just amazing how much our mood changes. We don't even have to talk about it. We don't have the kind of arguments we used to have because we just kind of know it. We're off a little. Well, let's go look at the dream again. Let's go put it in front of us because that's what keeps us moving. That's what will keep you moving. Number 2 is set some goals. You've got to have some goals in front of you, what you're shooting for. This Star Maker program that launched today. This is a great one if you're brand new to shoot for. Being able to put some in your right and put some in your left. We put some money in the comp plan. Go ahead and sit down with the person who sponsored you and go over that and how you can run for that and make some money. One of the things that we've asked them to do at Jeunesse is Jeunesse had a habit of coming up with new promos every single month. And there were different promos. And a lot of times by the time that we got to the middle of the month, we were still figuring out last month's promo. And we've asked them to go ahead and do some promos that they can run for 2 or 3 months. And I can't say anything that for sure, but I will tell you the ones that we're coming up with now, it looks like we're going to be able to run on for a while or have those be part of our arsenal as we move along and build our business. And so that's the Star Maker program. And those 2 right there, having some goals and a dream, that's really what it is. The foundation for your business is those 2 things. What is it you're going to do and why is it you're going to do it? Because the how doesn't matter if you don't know why. And if you don't know what, you just end up being confused and you end up doing nothing at all. And the next 3 part of our pattern, or the next 4 of them, are what we call the income producing activities. And those are create a names list, contact your people, show the program, and follow through. I kind of look at that as a wheel. So names list is the first, then you contact your people, then you show them the program, and then you follow through. Names list, then might show the plan, follow through. And the follow through, you get the names list, then you go ahead and contact some people, you show the program to them, you follow through. That wheel right there is what we have done for the last bunch of years. And we've averaged somewhere between 15 and 20 plans a month or cycles a month of that for the last 30 years. and it's allowed us to be financially free for 25 of those. And at the beginning, you may not be able. You may look and say, "Well, God, that's too big of a number for me." But you've got a lot of different tools. The first part of it is putting together a names list. You write down who it is that you think might be able to go out there and build this, who might be interested in this, and don't go choose them, because the ones that you think are going to do it aren't, and the ones that you think will do it. I mean, I'd love to say, when I saw this idea, I thought, I know exactly how this is going to play. I know who's going to get in. I know how it's going to work, and we'll be rich within.
Who needs it?
And who needs it? And we went. And we ran, and I'm going to tell you, none of it worked the way I thought it was going to work. The people who I thought were going to get in didn't get in. The people who I thought weren't going to get in got in. The people who signed up. Anyway, it just there's no. Everyone's going to have their own different journey. But when you put names down, what you just really want to do is you want to announce to the world, like Tracey said, that you're in business. And then if they're not ready right now, you go ahead and put them up in the bleachers. With social media. I got on just 2 days ago, and I put on my wall on Facebook. I put congratulations to Ross, and I did that for two reasons. Number one, I'm really excited about having Ross. Have him hit Sapphire 25. We're just really proud of him. But I also did it so all the friends that I've got that are watching, and all the people I've talked to that said no, they get to see this legacy team and see leaders of ours putting points on the board, and so you'll have people that'll watch that, and so just let them know. I talked to people I was close to that, and I told them, hey, I don't know if this is for you or not, but really, as long as you know me, you're going to know this, and I just thought I'd show you first. And some of our family got involved at the beginning, some of them didn't. Some of our best leaders, my sister didn't get involved for 2 years, yet she made millions with us in this industry. But she sat out for 2 years as a skeptic. But she watched us run, and she watched us put points on the board, and that really, in the long run, that's what it's about. I remember by the time we went ahead and we're in the business for 4 years, we had a housewarming party here at our house that we just bought, and invited all the people that said no. And some of them looked at us afterwards and said, here's my number, call me, and they said yes after that. And so you never really know, but put everyone down and keep that list going. I don't know how you necessarily are going to do it yourself personally. When you go ahead and put your names on your phone, maybe you have a contact list in there that you're using. I know that Janessa and the office, they've got a contact management tool back there if that's something that you use. One of the things I always do is I always keep a note section on my phone, because sometimes I'll be driving down the road and a name will come to mind, and I don't want to forget that name, because I'll get home and I'll go, man, who was I thinking about the other day? And so I go right to that note section, and not while I'm driving, so I don't kill myself or somebody else, but I'll go ahead and I'll put that down, or I'll just jot it on a piece of paper in the car. But right now, today, what I actually do is I have a board up in my office that I have a whiteboard, and I have the names on there, and I have an eraser next to them, and they come and go fairly quickly. But we're looking for people who are looking. We're not going to chase anybody. The second part is contacting them. And today we have a wide range of ways to go ahead and contact. Calling somebody on the phone is certainly a great way to do it. And if you're brand new, if you have enough of the information, that may be good. I was talking to a gal that just joined our company, and they're using almost all text messages. They're a younger group, and they pretty much shoot a text of, hey, Bob, this is Lance. Hey, you making money? You have a smartphone? Are you making money with it yet? I got something I need to talk to you about. And just something simple like that, starting the conversation, going down and sitting down and showing somebody how they can take a smartphone and monetize it, by being able to partner up with Janessa and all the tools that we have, and being able to literally go build your business anywhere around the world. I mean, you guys have heard me say that when we got involved in business, we talked about having a home-based business, but you don't have to be home to build this business. You can do this you got a smartphone on you, and connectivity, and you can build this business anywhere in the world, and I love that part about it. So you can text it that way. You can shoot. I mean, I don't necessarily recommend emails, because emails is most emails today are spam. But phone calls and texts are a great way. And again, sit down with your support team if you're not sure exactly how to do it. And again, I'm talking to some new people right now, but I'm also talking to those of you that aren't really maybe not running as hard. Go ahead and look and say, if we were to start brand new. Somebody asked me one time, they said, Lance, what would happen if your whole business quit? And you what would you do? Would you go back and find another job? And I looked at him and I said, hell no. I said, I would sell everything I have. I would move back to the little condo that was 600 square feet. I'd go out there and find my little Toyota truck somewhere, and I'd go ahead and take the rest of whatever I had and put some money in some products and some tools, and I'd go out there and build this again, because I know what this thing can do. I know I'm smarter now than I was back then, and I can build it a lot faster now than I can back then. And those of you that maybe they're in. I mean, the truth of the matter is, you're smarter today than you were 6 months ago, and you're going to be smarter 6 months from now than you are right now. You just got to pick a time to run. And again, Tracey and I have started over 50, 60, 70 times. I mean, just when we feel like we've got to a point where maybe we're not seeing enough success. We look in the mirror and we can't blame our upline. We don't blame our downline. We don't blame anyone except ourselves. We're in absolute control of what it is that we do. And we look back and say, okay, what's our dream? And that's where we start. We set some goals. We put the names list out. We start to contact. And then from there, we show the program. For Tracey and I, we like it personally. If we can do a one-on-one with them, that's the best way to do it. I have some slides on my phone, and you can get them in our back office or the legacy office. And I can sit down with somebody and flip through a couple of things and look them in the eyes, and I find their dream, and I show them how this could, maybe answer those or help them fill those dreams. And then I tell them I believe in them. Let's go build something. And some of them, even for Tracey and I mean, it's funny because I had somebody the other day that came up to our house. They pulled into and it's a pretty nice house, and we've got some pretty nice stuff around here. And I sat them down, and the guy probably makes about $40,000 a year, and I showed him how this would work, and I told him I believe him. I told him I'd help him, and he called me back 2 days later and said no. And I look and go, man, if that was me years ago, I would have grabbed on that quick. But you know what? Everyone's not the same. And not everyone's going to go ahead and do this. Now, we get no's today, too. We just don't get a lot of them, thankfully. And because a lot of people, they may walk away thinking it's not for them, but they never walk away going, oh, those guys don't believe in what they're doing. Because we absolutely love what it is we do, and we'd never want to do anything else. And so shows the plan. That's one way to show it. You can show it by, we have the Monday videos, the opportunity calls. You could get somebody on that if you're not real comfortable going to show it. And not only that, we record those. We put them in the back office. And if somebody misses the Monday call, you can go ahead and shoot them that call. That actually counts as a plan. I love that part of it. I love the technology that we have with this. And I also want to tell you this, and this is your homework assignment for those of you that are involved in Legacy. If you have not yet shown a Zoom plan, I want to challenge you this upcoming week, and I'm just telling you, I don't care who it is. Call up a friend, hey, $10 for a half hour of your time, put them on there. But you go get on a Zoom and do a Zoom presentation to them. Okay, just practice. You got to practice. There are some of you, I've talked to a few of you just recently and going, hey, why don't you do a Zoom plan? Well, I haven't done a Zoom plan yet. Like, you're kidding me. We've been doing these Zoom meetings for a year and a half, and I know you're on them all the time because I see you on them. But unless you're out there going ahead and doing them and turning the thing around and putting you on the Zoom, your business is going to only grow as fast as you can shoot videos back and forth. And again, it's a great tool, but if you really want to be a leader, at some point you've got to turn that thing around and point the camera at your face and get on a call with somebody. And so I'm going to challenge you guys. I'm going to ask you if we get to summer conference out there in Indianapolis, and there's somebody who's been part of our team for a while, and they haven't done Zoom meetings yet with prospects, we're going to have a talk. So actually, Tracey will come at you. She's meaner than I am. So showing the plan, that's just part of the deal. 15 plans a month seem to be kind of magic, but again, do what you can and stay consistent with it. That's what we're asking for. I know that last week Mike talked about two a day and 4 in play. I believe it is. If you can put more in play, I like 2 a day and 10 in play, just because I don't want to base my future on somebody on my team or a prospect that I have, because you know what, their goals may not be as big as my goals. I'd rather go faster than slower, and I'd rather have more to choose from. And the more people you have to choose from to go build with, the faster your business will go. On the follow through is simple. Get back with them, answer some questions, and I like to say, you ready for step 2? And they say, what's step 2? And I go right into their names list. Who do you know? Who have you thought about? And we start that process, and we get that wheel going, and that follow through, we'll get them signed up, or we'll get them registered. And if they don't have money to get signed up right there, then I'll go ahead and book my next meeting with them, get them some names, book the next meeting, and I promise you, when I get their prospects excited and their prospects are getting in, they will get in. I mean, they'll come up with the money, they'll find a way to do it. I push for the Supreme Pack or the Ambassador Pack. The Ambassador Pack, the $1,000 pack is what I'm shooting for, because that gives people the right amount of products to get started right. The last thing you want to do is buy a 7-Eleven and have nothing on the stores or on the shelves. I mean, what good is that? You can invite people in, they look around going, oh, nice shelves, nice neon lights, that's great. You're open 24 hours and 7 days a week. That's great. Well, now what?
And after 5 of those ambassador packs, it pays the sponsor back for their investment. So it's a great belief. Yeah. So it is a very duplicatable thing to do.
Yeah, no, and so that's on the follow through, and I just got to run through the rest of these. Number 7 is attend everything that's promoted by the support team. Our next event is in Indianapolis in June. We wouldn't promote it if we didn't think it was going to be the best thing for you to do. It really would make us more money if we told you all to stay home and just use the money you're going to spend going to Indianapolis and go buy products. We'd make more money today, But what about a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now? You know, the education is the key. Is the key to our kids. You know, you don't have a good educational system, and you're going to have an economy that's going to flop in the long run. And our business is such that every now and then you got to stop and you got to sharpen the sword. And we get together and we talk about techniques, we talk about ideas, we recognize people that have success, and it's part of the process. And so, step 7 is attend everything promoted, and number 8 is to duplicate that process. And those 8 steps have been around forever. Those aren't something new. They're not something we made up. We get paid by helping you guys make money, and the more money you make, the better off you're going to be. And there's a couple of truths just kind of wrapping this thing up. You know, there's some truths that if you go ahead and you get in your run with this thing, there are people who are going to think you're crazy. They just are. You know, I often use the example of this. Have you ever seen a dog chasing a rabbit? You know, dogs if they're chasing a rabbit or a squirrel, man, they get all lit up and they're running all over the place and they're jumping and they're barking and they're yipping, and I mean it's kind of exciting to see them. We got 3 dogs, and it's I mean my dog literally roll over and wet themselves, and they can chase a rabbit. They can just get so excited that they can't control themselves. Now,
I kind of think of Kendra and her dog with the butterfly.
Yeah, that's right. We were over at my daughter Kendra's house, and she's got a great dog named Bruce, and they got a new house, and it's got 10,000 square foot lot in the back that's just dirt, and the dog would actually birds would fly over the top of him, or butterflies would fly by, and he couldn't see up. He didn't look up. He was looking on the ground, and so he's chasing these butterflies and chasing the shadows of them on the ground. And we sat there for hours, just dying. Anyway. But my point of this is, imagine if you couldn't see those shadows, and imagine if you couldn't see the squirrel and couldn't see the rabbit. You would think the dog was crazy. And when someone's chasing a dream, they're often looked at as crazy, and that's just the way that it is. Just deal with that. Not everyone's going to join you. Again, there are now or later. We kind of talked about that. Another truth is that consistent effort will trump perfection. And also ability. I've put a lot of people in on bad plans, but I've never put anybody in on no plan. And so you've got to give yourself the freedom to not be perfect. You got to realize that, you know, if somebody is looking, there's nothing you can do wrong that's going to stop them from getting in. If they're not looking, you can't do it so perfectly that you're going to get them anyway. And so realize this, you know, it's you know, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the person is ready to change their life, they're going to see what it is that we've got here. And again, you know, you're the messenger. You don't have to be the message. We've got videos, we've got tools, we've got slides, we've got, you know, these calls that you can tie people into. Let that do the work for you. Let that do a lot of the heavy lifting. And so consistent effort will always beat perfection. You know, Tracey, I got up in the groove, and once we got to the point where we were doing the activity, then we started to refine it as far as what was working. And you've got a support team that will help you do that. And the last thing I'll just tell you is this, and it's the truth, is it's absolutely, absolutely worth it. You know, I look at this thing, and it's, again, I don't know where you're at in life. I don't know what it is you're looking for. I know that I realized fairly quick as I got involved in this business that the first thing that happened is my attitude started to change. Mm-hmm. I started I was reading books, and I was starting to think more positive. Things that were bugging me, little things that would get on my nerves weren't getting on my nerves anymore. I was able to focus on something bigger, and so I didn't get hung up on the little pebbles in the roadway. You know, if you're looking off in the distance, you don't worry about stumbling over pebbles. When you're not moving, the pebbles make a big deal, and that's your whole focus. And so my thinking started to change, and that was probably one of the greatest things that the transformations we ever had. Is it's not what you make or the things you're able to acquire, it's who you become along the way. And so that change was real good from a money standpoint. I'll tell you, it's a really kind of a cool thing. You know, money isn't the only thing that's happiness, and you know. But what money does is money gives you options. And I've found that people with options are a lot happier than people who don't have options. And I remember getting to that point where you know, I remember thinking to myself, and again, I don't mean to beat up on jobs. I think you should have one if you don't have an income. But could you imagine having an income coming into where you didn't have to go in every day? And so from the money standpoint, to be able to pay off the bills and get out of debt, I'll tell you what, it's just such a relief as we built our business. Now, at the beginning, we had to put some money in. I tell you, it was the other way around. I actually sold some stuff to go to my first event because we had to invest in it. But those seeds have all paid back, and we still get paid on work today. We still get paid today on work we did years ago. And that's the beauty of residual income and what this is. And so we changed. We looked at the income. That's just been amazing over the years. We looked at the time, to be able to have the time to do things we want to do. I remember the day that I walked in my boss's office, and our company was opening up in Mexico, and I walked in, and I told my boss, he says, "Hey, you need a day off?" I said, "Well," I said, "You know what business I'm doing?" He says, "Yeah." He said, "It's going pretty well." I said, "I noticed you got a new Mercedes out in the parking lot, and people are kind of talking around here that you're doing real well." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's growing so well, I really can't afford to come in anymore." And I said, I don't want to leave you guys hanging, but I've got some things I've got to do. I said, he said, when's your last day? I said, if it's okay, if it could be today, that would be great. And he said, yeah. He said, no, you've done a great job kind of getting everything set up. We knew this was kind of coming, and really been honored to work with you. Anyway, great guy. We still have a relationship today. But my point was, I remember thinking to myself, well, that's it. And I took out my pocket saver, took out my pen, I cleaned out my desk, put it in a box, and I smiled because I had 4 or 5 times the income coming in from this business that I had at my job. We stayed probably 1.5 years longer than I needed to, but I knew it was going to duplicate it. And if I quit too early, there were other people who made a lot more than me, and I didn't want them quitting too soon. And I remember driving home. I remember hopping in my truck with all of my stuff. I remember driving and looking in the rearview mirror and watching the name of my company just disappear in the difference. And it was such a weird feeling knowing I never have to go back there ever again. And I remember coming home and looking, and I used to go work all year long, and I have 2 weeks of vacation, and I had to go factor in. And to be able to open up the calendar and look and say, okay, we have a convention in June, we have Expo in Orlando, and this month, and look and going, I got 2 weeks I have to show up. The rest I get to fill in any way I want. And I remember the smell that Tracey and I had, and to be able to spend every day and wake up and, we obviously we run real hard and we love what it is we're doing, but we've averaged 1 week of vacation or 4 or 5 weeks of it, or 4 or 5 days of vacation every month for the last 25 years straight. We were real good at running for about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, and then we take 4 or 5 days off. And then we run for 3.5 weeks, and we take 4 or 5 days off. And as a matter of fact, I'll just be honest with you now that we're at the end of this and you got this far. This is actually a recording that we did on Saturday. It's Saturday, it's not April 1st right now, because I've got my daughter and I've got her boyfriend that we haven't had a chance to get to know real well. And their schedule worked out where they had a vacation time, they had their spring break. And so we're actually down in Mexico fishing for halibut right now. And getting just to start the batteries recharged. Yours are going to be bigger? No. We're getting our batteries recharged, and again, that's the beauty of what we're able to do is we're able to be able to spend the time, and if that's something that you want to do, we have the ability to help other people, which is a massive deal. To be able to go ahead and pass the baton on. We sat down with a couple, Club Karen and Mike and Tracey and Effie sat down with a guy who's somebody that if I mentioned the name, you know who he was, but he's had a lot of success. But he's also hit a couple of walls. He had a couple personal walls with the family and some other things, and just to see this guy light up about the possibility of being able to finish strong and be able to go ahead and get back on the top of his game again. I tell you what, it means everything to me. And it's like, you know what, man, there's nothing I wouldn't do to help this guy get back to the top of his game again. Because this guy, he was telling, I think he's been in 180 countries, which we haven't even been in close. But to be able to see something like that, I'll tell you what, to be able to pass the dream on, or to see somebody who's struggling, a husband and wife, and they're both at work, and they're maybe 2 jobs or 3 jobs, and to be able to see them light up, to see someone catch a hold of the dream and what this can do for them, I'll tell you what, if that's something you want to do, if you want to make a difference in other people's lives, go out there and build this business big, because you can't become successful without helping a lot of other people along the way. Somebody was kind of claiming that, we're the top 100 lifetime earners, and I said, what excites me more about us being the top lifetime earners is that we've had 50 to 60 people now today that have been in business with us that have become millionaires because of this industry. And that's a number that excites me a lot more than whatever numbers we put up on the board, because the truth is we've achieved a lot of, our financial dreams and goals, although that house with a yacht would really be nice. It's going to be nice. And so
good catch.
I caught it. See, we're all flawed. And so if you got to start over, start over. You're brand new. Get your dream out there. Set some goals. Get that income producing activities. The names of the invite, show the plan, follow up. Go out there and make sure that you attend everything that's out there, and then duplicate this process. Because if you do, I can't guarantee your results because I don't know exactly what it is you're going to do, but I will tell you, you're in the right company at the right time with the right people. If there was ever a time in history to join this industry, it's now. If it was ever a time from technology and everything else, it's now. And the days of working for somebody for 45 years are gone, and everybody's got to have 2 or 3 other income streams, and this is it's going to be effort, but it's the easiest thing that we've ever done, and I thank God every day that we went out there and built this. And so God bless you guys. I appreciate you guys jumping on here with us. I hope that you guys have a fantastic week. And your homework assignment, show a Zoom plan this week. Make sure that you do, otherwise Tracey's going to get you at summer conference. Love you guys. Take care, and I'll pass it back to whoever the host is. So night, everybody. Bye-bye.